What an amazing episode 4 of the Hawkeye series, guys. We're going to break it all down, review it over, give you guys some honest thoughts and opinions, theories, and speculations for future episodes of the Hawkeye series, starting right now. What's going on, guys? Unofficial MCU here. I hope you're all doing well. And in today's video, as I had just mentioned, we have our episode 4 Hawkeye breakdown, review, theories, speculations, all are more closer towards the end of the video, so make sure you guys are staying tuned for that. Something noticeably that I really do love about all of these Marvel shows and series that we have been getting throughout the year of 2021 is that it makes us really easy for us to bond with these characters, as it pretty much plays off of each and every single episode, leaving off from each and every episode and continuing on to the next. It never feels like there's any type of jump or time jump or barrier between us and our characters, as we get to see them in every single aspect and moment and time that they're going through whatever they're going through in this series. While this is something that we saw with WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the Loki show, and a little bit of the What If show as well, Hawkeye seems to be following this same exact protocol. So, to get started, a few heavy things that we do see throughout this episode is that continued building bond here and relationship with Kate Bishop and Clint Barton, aka Hawkeye. And as I have mentioned in previous videos regarding Hawkeye, Hawkeye is really playing that father type of role for Kate Bishop and her character to fully develop and understand the world around her, especially becoming a young Avenger. This is something that was a kind of confirmed by Kate Bishop's character, or actor rather, Haley Steinfeld, as when she was actually asked this question about the Young Avengers and Kate Bishop possibly joining the Young Avengers at some point in time in the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as this is something that we are really starting to see develop in the Marvel Cinematic Universe with other characters and their Young Avengers. Take WandaVision, for example. Her kids are definitely going to be some Young Avengers. Take the same thing with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Isaiah Bradley's grandson is definitely going to be one of the next Captain America type figures within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You could very well, same thing goes for the Loki show with Kid Loki as well, which I think is something really cool that a lot of these shows are setting up for the very kind of near / far out future of the MCU. Something episode 4 of the Hawkeye series really helps fans understand more is the idea and the character of Clint Barton and the overall Hawkeye character that we have been following in the Marvel Cinematic Universe for 10 plus years. We've not really gotten a chance to settle down with this character and truly get to understand his character and who he really is. We've seen him off and on in Avengers movies and here and there, and maybe Captain America Civil War and other Marvel projects, but we've never really gotten to dial down and focus on Hawkeye's overall character. And this is something that this overall series is of course meant for, but this is something that this episode really does feel like it capitalizes on, and that's something that I need to share and capitalize on as well. Furthermore, something that has been kind of touched on here and there with other Marvel characters, especially Wanda in the year of 2021 with Marvel characters and superheroes, is the whole aspect and idea of real world problems. Sure, these are just, so of course, crazy superheroes that we love to watch their films and series and adventures and that type of thing, but something that we do need to understand about these superheroes at the end of the day is that they're just normal people, and that's something that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is really starting to dial down on. And honestly, of course, at first it's a shaky idea, but it's something I'm starting to become in love with, and it's something I'm becoming to appreciate, and something that this episode really dials down on is not only the overall idea of Clint Barton and his character, and that's what the overall series is for, but this episode I feel like really dials down on what he's been through, his past traumatic stress order and his PTSD that he's had and suffered throughout the last couple of years regarding the overall snap and Thanos and even events before then. Clint Barton, aka Hawkeye's overall PTSD, is something that is heavily explored and kind of brought up multiple times, I feel like, throughout this overall episode, and it's something that's been kind of needing to be brought up, and I think I really do appreciate that they're finally bringing this up and actually dialing down on it for his overall character. Something I really do appreciate. Aside from that, the overall character of Kate Bishop is of course being built on here and there, and like I had mentioned in my very first review episode for the Hawkeye series, is I thought that her character was incredibly annoying, and I think I'm pretty much almost safe to say that I don't really think that anymore after 4 episodes of the Hawkeye series and exploring and developing with these characters. that there is a good thing. Now let's get a little more down and juicy into some of the more interesting stuff that we do see here in this overall episode, especially towards the end of the episode. We're going to talk a little bit more about that and some theories and suspicions, speculations. But a quick side plot that we did see in episode 2 of the Hawkeye series was the idea of LARP and the LARP adventure. It wasn't necessarily just a one-off type of thing, and it's something that was brought up once again. The LARP is the group of people that like to cosplay as the knights and all of that type of fancy snancy stuff, and I'm pretty glad that they brought those guys back, because I did feel like and have a feeling that they were going to bring those characters back. Just wasn't completely sure when, how, where, and why. And then in this case, it was in the idea to bring back the trick arrows that we see Hawkeye use, which is kind of interesting and cool that he's able to reuse arrows, especially trick arrows, because they seem like a one-time, one-use type of thing. It's going to be interesting to see how they're able to reuse those arrows. On top of that, of course, that's very interesting, but I'm beginning to kind of think that they could be a little suspicion and be up to something, but that's maybe something for another time and a different theory, although I really do highly doubt it. Furthermore, we're going to get a little more into some of this more juicy, interesting stuff here, especially towards the end of what we did see here at the end of episode 4. Very, very cool. Something else that was also brought up that kind of is reckoning with the PTSD matter that Clint Barton's character is dealing with is in the way that everybody dealt with the blip, aka the snap, in everybody's own way. And Clint furthermore goes on to explain some of that emotion that he was feeling during that time. He continued to do what he was trained for, and that there was hurting people, as that's kind of what he's meant for. Same thing kind of as goes for Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff, and her character, which was dialed on and dialed down on in multiple times throughout this episode, especially towards the end. Furthermore, before we get into that, when Kate Bishop does fall off the building during that kind of fight scene, which was really interesting, it was a direct reference mirroring the death of Natasha, aka Black Widow, in the Endgame, which is something that Clint Barton's character is having a really tough time dealing with. Okay, finally, into the good stuff here. Aside from the whole ideas and mentions of Kingpin and his character making his entry not only into the Hawkeye series, but the overall MCU in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is something that also is being continued to be teased and mentioned a little bit here and there throughout this overall series, Yelena is making her comeback within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. First seen in the overall kind of Black Widow movie here that is supposed to be a backstory for Black Widow and her character. Yelena is the sister of Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff. And something very, very huge that we do see at the end of the Black Widow movie that sets up a lot of stuff for what we're going to be seeing here in the future of the Hawkeye series is essentially that Yelena's character is being recruited by pretty much an evil Avengers team. This is something that we've already been seeing with John Walker and his character in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and yet that lady is back and she's starting to recruit a little bit of a team here of pretty much evil Avengers. This is something that we're probably going to be seeing here in a future Avengers 6 or 7th movie. I think would be really, really cool. Maybe even Avengers 5. Even as soon as then, I think would be really, really cool. It's almost kind of like a Sinister 6 that we're going to be seeing for Spider-Man. However, except in this case, it's going to be for the Avengers. It's something I do want to talk about in a separate video, so make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel and hit the notification bell if you haven't already to be notified when that video does come out. Even then, Yelena's character is being believed that Hawkeye is the main murderer of Natasha Romanoff, and for that, she's going to be wanting her revenge. And throughout this overall series, we're going to see a lot of tensities and attacks be coming from Yelena and her character. Even then, hopefully, maybe she'll find the truth out from Clint Barton, and they'll be able to connect, and she'll be able to come back to the good side of the Avengers, and maybe even join the future of the Avengers. I think would be something kind of cool. Something I don't want to miss out in this overall review / breakdown for the episode 4 of Hawkeye is Maya's character and her return. She was pretty much completely overshadowed by the return of Yelena and her character, and that is for good reason, but let's not forget that she's a character and going to be a main villain in the Hawkeye series as well, although she might come to terms because she's really after the Ronin, and the Ronin is quote-unquote dead according to Clint Barton, and it's going to be really interesting, and it has been really interesting so far to see how he's kind of losing and shaking off that name of Ronin by coming up with a lie to say that he's dead and he died with the death of Natasha Romanoff. Unfortunately, he's kind of slipping up a little bit here and there, especially to Kate Bishop, who's a huge blabbermouth, and that secret might get out there. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to wait and see. I say this for just about every little snippet and bit that we get for Marvel shows, series, movies. What an amazing experience episodes. I cannot wait for next week's episode. Episode 5, we're going to be breaking that down, and all the other episodes here on the channel. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel and hit the notification bell so you guys don't miss any of that and any other Marvel news we're also going to be covering here on the channel as well. Let me know if your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section down below, guys. What do you guys think about episode 4 of Hawkeye? What do you guys think about the return of Yelena? Did you think it was going to be happening so soon, or did you think it was something we are going to be seeing towards the end of the series? Let me know of your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys all think. Drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it, as it really does help with the channel, and check out Instagram unofficial MCU for more Marvel related content, guys. Thanks so much for watching today's video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.